For 300,000 years, one job sat above almost everything else in your brain. Survive. Not make money, not hold a stop loss, not follow a plan. Survive. And at that one job, it was perfect. Here's the problem. That same brain is sitting in front of your chart right now, and it's still doing the job. Fully committed, full effort. But to understand why your brain is doing this to you, we need to rewind about 300,000 years. Humans live in small groups, a few dozen people. Every day is a fight to stay alive. Predators, hunger, and disease. The threat is everywhere. Picture the scene. Your ancestor is walking with his group across the savannah. Suddenly, a rustle in the bushes. Everyone runs. Full panic, full speed. Half the group is up a tree. A moment later, out of the bushes walks a rabbit. Someone coughs. Awkward. Everyone climbs down, pretending nothing happened. Funny? Sure. But here's the thing most people miss. The one who ran from the rustle in the bushes, he lived. And he had kids. And his kids had kids. And across thousands of generations, the genes that screamed run at every rustle got passed down. The one who stood there analyzing? Sometimes he was right. Sometimes it was a rabbit. But sometimes it was a lion. And then he didn't have kids anymore. Evolution didn't reward courage. It didn't reward logic. It rewarded one thing: staying alive. And it consistently favored the ones who reacted faster. What's left is you, built to react now, not later, before the thinking even starts. A shadow behind a tree, alarm. An unfamiliar sound, alarm. A sudden movement, alarm. Every time. No exceptions. Now let's bring this to trading. Monday morning, Ryan opens a platform. The week before was a string of stop losses, 4 in a row. Ryan went through each one. None of them were dumb mistakes. Every single one was the plan executed. The market just didn't go his way. Weeks like that happen. Ryan knows this. He even wrote it in his journal Friday night. It's part of the game. I'm back Monday. Monday. Ryan sits down at the chart. The setup on screen looks good. Trend is clear. Entry is clean. Cursor on the button. And right at that moment, price starts slipping. It's still at the entry level. The setup is alive. But the situation looks exactly like it did on those last 4 trades. Something moved in the bushes. Ryan feels uncertain. Something is locking him up. Those stop losses from last week are still running quietly in the background. Price takes off. Without him. 90 pips. Out of the bushes walked a rabbit. And here's the thing that explains everything. Your ancestors weren't the calm ones. They weren't the ones who stood there analyzing. They weren't the ones who waited for certainty. They were the ones who reacted to a potential threat. That's who lived long enough to have kids. That's who you came from. Your brain isn't broken. It's working perfectly. Perfectly tuned over thousands of years of selection to do exactly what Ryan just did. Job 2. Don't lose what you already have. 4 days you leave before sunrise. Day 1. Tracks. They were close, but the animal disappeared into the brush. Day 2. Nothing. Like the forest was empty. Day 3. You got close enough to hear the antelope breathing. You threw. You missed by a meter. Day 4. You sat by the fire, and the woman beside you looked at you the way you look at someone who was supposed to take care of everyone and didn't. Not with anger, with something worse. Resignation. Day 5, you got up before sunrise again. And this time, it worked. A small fox, but yours. You walk back to camp. Your heart is beating harder than it did during the hunt. The kids eat tonight. The woman beside you is looking at you differently again. In a moment of euphoria, you left the fox outside the cave instead of somewhere safe. You step away for a moment. Minutes. You come back. It's gone. You stand there, staring at the spot where it was. It's gone. 5 days of hunger. 5 days of disappointed faces. 5 days of feeling your standing in the tribe drop with every empty return. And one moment, one single moment, when you had something certain in your hands, and it was gone in a second. That lesson gets wired in deeper than almost anything else. Certain things can disappear in a second, without warning. And from that day on, whatever you have in your hands, you hold tighter. You hold longer. Because somewhere deep, the system has learned that certain is fragile. Now let's talk about Ryan. Monday, stop loss. Setup looks good. Market said no. Tuesday, it was close. Position was growing. Target was within reach. Market turned around 3 pips before take profit. Stop loss. Wednesday, U.S. session. Ryan opens a position in the morning. Setup is clean. Trend is clear. The plan says target at 150 pips. Hold. An hour passes. Position is in the green, 70 pips. Price keeps going. The setup is still working. The plan says hold. But the system sees a fox by the fire. What if the market turns? What if this profit disappears? 2 days with nothing. Today you have something. You can lose it. Take it now before it's too late. Ryan stares at the chart. Position is growing. Plan says hold. But that voice doesn't stop. Take it now. Certain is better than maybe. Ryan closes. 70 pips in the pocket. And he watches the market drop 80 pips without him. Ryan sits, stares at the chart. The fox disappeared 300,000 years ago, and Ryan is still guarding it. One thing before we move on. The savannah explains the foundation. It doesn't explain everything. Your brain spent millions of years of evolution building responses that had one goal: survive. And that foundation is in you regardless of who you are or where you come from. But how that foundation actually operates in you, that's your story. Your habits, your first losses in the market, the way you learned to handle risk long before you knew what a stop loss was. 2 people with identical biology can react in completely different ways in front of the same chart, because biology is the starting point, not the finish line. 2 jobs, 2 patterns that show up in almost every session. One makes you freeze when the entry is right. One makes you grab a profit before it becomes a loss that never comes. Neither of them has anything to do with your strategy. Both of them were built for a world that no longer exists. Next episode, we're talking about FOMO, and I promise you it's not what you think it is. See you there.